Hello everyone, my name is Lida Walsh and I am Head of Solution at Harris Interactive, and I will introduce you to our High Brands Sustainability Framework. Later on, we will share with you some case studies from banking sector, newspapers, energy and spirit category. For some time, we were thinking if the traditional frameworks for measuring brand equity models are reflecting the modern way of marketing brands. There's evidence that looking only to brand equity and penetration is not enough to build a sustainable brand. Brands owners are interested how their brands will perform in the future. We still measure core brand health measures, which is brand knowledge, such as awareness, familiarity, and brand penetration, together with core brand equity. These measures reflect the past and present brand health development. But it's not enough. For brands to be sustainable, we have to measure future relevance. Is the brand going to evolve according to future customer needs? And if they are still going to be relevant to consumers? To ensure brand sustainability, the brand has to have good level of vitality. So what we mean by vitality? At first, there has to be some excitement about the brand. People must be eager to buy or use it and actively looking for information about the brand. Also, consumers have to have some sense of community or attachment to the brand. It means that there must be two-way interactions with the brand to allow co-creation. And there must be some level of empathy, such as personal identification with the people from the brand and empathy with other users. Then we calculate a high brand scores. There are 13 core questions which feed into the high brand pillars. These were extensively researched and validated during the framework development. A mechanism how to calculate one number high brand score was identified, and it was proven that this score strongly correlates with the marketing outcomes of brand consideration and consequent purchase. However, what we find even more interesting is the brand sustainability metrics, which gives us deep diagnostics. The vertical side of the matrix shows how strong a brand is in terms of its penetration and equity, which are the traditional measures. The horizontal side shows to what extent the brand is future relevant. The size of the bubble shows brand vitality. Building brands scores low across all measures. They have low future relevance and very low vitality. Second quadrant represents strong brands. These brands have high penetration and equity, but low future relevance. The level of vitality tends to be also very low. Challenging brands quadrant is very interesting. These brands are shaking the market and challenging status quo. They are future relevant, they have massive vitality, but these brands still working towards improving penetration and brand equity. They tend to be niche. Compelling brands have it all. They are future relevant, have great penetration and equity, and their vitality is very healthy. Now I ask my colleague Mark Brenton to share with you outputs from the energy sector.
My name is Mark Brenton and I'm Head of Energy Research at Harris Interactive. I'm just going to give you a quick overview of our latest high brands results in the retail energy sector. Just to provide a bit of context, we know that brands in the sector are looking to the future in terms of new income streams and have strengthened their offer to customers in recent years, offering new energy solutions from boilers and smart thermostats to electric vehicle charging. Indeed, some of them are even starting to offer non-energy products and services again. Scottish Power linking up with AXA to offer insurance is a recent example of this. The industry, however, continues to be dogged by issues of trust, and with energy being a commodity, price remains king for the consumers. As a result, traditional Big Six are losing share to smaller and more agile challenger brands. So how sustainable are the traditional and emerging energy brands in what is a very low engagement sector? I'm going to quickly take you back a year to look at the High Brands Energy Matrix from February 2018, and then show you the latest results, demonstrating how the market picture has changed since then. Looking at the High Brands Energy Matrix from February 2018, you can see that despite this continued investment in new energy solutions that I mentioned, there were no compelling energy brands in the sector. There were a number of challenging brands and one brand with very high brand equity and knowledge. I'm sure you can guess who this might be. Our theory at that point in time was that once the smart meter rollout started to gather pace, there could potentially be wider adoption of associated smart technology, and this could start to capture the imagination of consumers, thereby giving brands increased vitality and future relevance. As we know though, there's still a long way to go with the smart meter rollout, so this could take some time to bear fruit. Fast forward 12 months and here is the picture now. The first thing to note is there are more brands included in the matrix. This demonstrates that consumers are increasingly having their eyes open to both new and other established brands and are increasingly familiar with what they have to offer. You can also see though that compelling brands have started to emerge. Interestingly, two of them are the new kids on the block, Octopus Energy and Bulb Energy. But the market leader in terms of brand sustainability is a more established renewable brand, Good Energy. This perhaps suggests that the desire of consumers to be more sustainable is being reflected in their perception of energy supplies. Focusing now on these three leading brands, their high brand scores are impressive. You can see here that their scores have increased significantly since the last wave and are well above the sector average. What is more impressive though is that their scores are above or in line with the all sector average high score. That's the highest average score across all the categories we have measured. Who would have thought that energy brands could be seen as exciting and future relevant as technology brands? These brands also perform very well on the other key high brands pillar, which is community, really giving consumers a sense that they belong to something and their ideas and suggestions will be listened to. One of the areas where these brands are not as strong is knowledge, but they are seeking to address this. Good Energy has just launched an online advert with a strong message pointing out that we as consumers are sustainable in many aspects of our lives, so why would it be any different for energy? The closing strapline certainly gives the feeling that by joining Good Energy, you will be part of something. Bulb Energy has just launched its first national TV advertising campaign. The ads are very simple in execution, but are very eye-catching and reinforce why people should sign up with them. It's really recommended, and it's the largest 100% renewable energy supplier. Octopus aren't currently running any advertising of note and haven't for a couple of years, but is doing a great job of simply from word of mouth due to award-winning service and extremely high customer ratings. So finally, what does the rest of 2019 hold? The emergence of Bulb and Octopus has certainly shaken up the market, but I doubt the more established, large and challenger brands are going to take this line down. The battle amongst the challenger brands will certainly be one to watch. First Utility was surpassed recently by Bulb as the 8th largest supplier, but it has the might of Shell behind it and has just last week rebranded to Shell Energy Retail. And OVO, long established as the 7th largest supplier, has just secured investment from Mitsubishi as it continues to heavily back electric vehicles. Certainly interesting times ahead and perhaps something for consumers to get more excited about in the coming months and years.